The moment I saw my daughter-in-law's smile, the one that didn't quite reach her eyes, I knew this Christmas was going to hurt. I'd driven 3 hours through a snowstorm to get to my son Marcus's house, my arthritic hands gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles went white. At 72, I probably shouldn't have been driving in weather like that, but Marcus had called me personally. "Dad, please come. The kids are asking about you. It wouldn't be Christmas without you." Those words had melted something in my chest that had been frozen since my wife Elena passed 2 years ago. This would be my first real Christmas since losing her, and the thought of being surrounded by family, my son, my 3 grandchildren, and yes, even my daughter-in-law Stephanie, had given me something to look forward to during those long, dark winter mornings. I arrived at 6:30, stamping snow off my boots on their welcome mat. Through the frosted window, I could see the golden glow of their decorated living room, hear the laughter and chatter of what sounded like a full house. My heart swelled. Family, this was what Elena would have wanted for me. Marcus opened the door and his face lit up. "Dad, you made it." He pulled me into a bear hug, and for a moment, I was holding my boy again, even though he was 45 and towered over me now. "Wouldn't miss it for the world, son." But as I stepped inside, I caught Stephanie's expression over Marcus's shoulder. That smile, tight, practiced, the kind you give to a door-to-door salesman you're about to dismiss. "Richard," she said, my name clipped and formal, "you're here. Not Merry Christmas, not we're so glad you made it safely, just an acknowledgement of my presence, like I was a package that had been delivered." "Merry Christmas, Stephanie," I said anyway, because Elena had raised a gentleman. "The house looks beautiful." It did too. Stephanie had always been meticulous about appearances. Every garland was perfectly draped, every ornament coordinated. The massive Christmas tree in the corner looked like it belonged in a magazine spread. I'd brought gifts for the grandkids, nothing fancy, just some books and puzzles, but suddenly they felt inadequate in this picture-perfect setting. Grandpa, 7-year-old Emma came barreling toward me, her pigtails flying. Behind her, 5-year-old Lucas and 10-year-old Mia followed, and for a few blessed minutes, I was engulfed in grandchildren, their excitement washing away Stephanie's cold reception. I settled into the evening, playing games with the kids, chatting with Marcus about his job at the engineering firm, nodding politely at Stephanie's friends and extended family members I'd never met. There must have been 20 people there, the house buzzing with conversation and Christmas music. Around 8 o'clock, Stephanie announced dinner was ready. Everyone migrated toward the dining room, where she'd set up a stunning buffet. My mouth watered at the sight. Honey-glazed ham, roasted turkey, mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, rolls, 3 different salads, and at least 4 kinds of pie on the sideboard. I hung back, letting others go first, another one of Elena's lessons in courtesy. "Let the ladies and children eat first, Richard," she'd always say. I watched as the line moved, plates piling high with food, the volume of conversation rising as people found seats in the dining room, the living room, even the kitchen. Finally, when most people had gotten their food, I approached the buffet table. And stopped cold. The platters were empty, not just low, completely scraped clean. The ham had been carved to the bone. The turkey was down to scraps. The mashed potato dish had visible fork marks where someone had gotten the last scoop. Even the rolls were gone. I stood there, my empty plate in my hand, staring at the remnants of what had been a feast. "Oh," Stephanie appeared beside me, her voice carrying just enough volume for people to hear. "Oh, Richard, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize you hadn't eaten yet." She surveyed the empty platters with theatrical dismay. "I guess I should have made more food, but I only prepared enough for family." The room had gotten quieter. People were listening now. "Only family gets to eat," she continued, her voice light, almost joking, but her eyes were hard as stones. I suppose I should have been clearer about the head count. The words hit me like a physical blow. Only family gets to eat. I wasn't family. That's what she was saying, in front of 20 people, in front of my son, in front of my grandchildren. After 3 years of marriage to Marcus, after 2 years of me biting my tongue at every passive-aggressive comment, every excluded invitation, every time she forgot to include me in family photos. This was her final message. I looked at Marcus, expecting him to say something, to defend me, to remind his wife that I was his father, that I was Emma's and Lucas's and Mia's grandfather. But Marcus was looking at his plate, his face flushed. He'd heard, everyone had heard, and he said nothing. "It's fine," I heard myself say, my voice surprisingly steady. "I'm not that hungry anyway, big lunch." The lie tasted bitter, but I'd be damned if I'd let her see me break. I set my empty plate down on the counter and walked back to the living room, where I sat in the corner chair and pretended to watch the kids play with their new toys. My stomach growled, but that pain was nothing compared to the ache in my chest. Only family gets to eat. Emma approached me after a while, half a cookie in her hand. "Grandpa, do you want this? I saved it for you." Sweet Emma with her mother's blonde hair and, thank God, her father's kind heart. "That's okay, sweetheart," I said, ruffling her hair. "You eat it." Around 10, I told Marcus I needed to head home before the roads got worse. Another lie, the snow had stopped hours ago. He walked me to the door, and I could see the guilt written all over his face, but still, he didn't apologize, didn't acknowledge what had happened. "Thanks for coming, Dad," was all he said. I drove home in silence, my stomach empty, my heart emptier. But by the time I pulled into my dark, quiet driveway, something had shifted inside me. I sat in my cold car, my breath fogging the windows, and thought about Elena. She'd been a force of nature, my wife. She wouldn't have tolerated this. She would have stood up for herself, for our dignity, for our family. And I realized I didn't have to tolerate it either. I was 72 years old, but I wasn't dead yet. I had choices. I pulled out my phone and started typing an email to Marcus. Not angry, not accusatory, just honest. "Dear son, tonight hurt more than I can express. I need you to understand that being excluded and humiliated in your home, especially on Christmas, isn't something I can simply overlook. I love you and my grandchildren more than life itself, but I also deserve to be treated with basic dignity and respect. I need some time to think about what kind of relationship we can have moving forward. I hope you'll think about it too. Love always. Dad." I hit send before I could second-guess myself. Then I went inside my empty house, made myself a sandwich, and sat down at the table where Elena and I had shared 47 Christmas dinners. I raised my glass of water in a small toast. "Merry Christmas, Elena," I whispered. "Wish you were here to tell me what to do next." The house was silent, but somehow I felt less alone than I had at that crowded party. Because I'd finally done what she always taught me. I'd stood up for myself, even if no one else would.